It's so cold in the deep. You still decided to go with it. You know what? That's fine. I don't care. You know why? Because
I wish it was cold in the A.
Oh my
It's hot.
gosh. It's
really, really hot.
It is very, very,
And
very,
everybody knows
very
that
hot.
heat irritates my life. I do not like being hot.
See, and I'm irritated by the cold. I don't want to be cold. You can't go frolic in the...
You can frolic in snow.
I can't go swimming. I can't frolic in the grass.
You can frolic in the snow. You can frolic in leaves.
There's no flowers bloomed. Ain't nothing nice.
There is.
No.
There's nice, pretty dead branches and dead leaves and all those things. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hello, and welcome back.
Hey.
To Bibles by Blacks.
We have an update for you guys. Should I tell them?
Sure.
The tambourines are coming.
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're
Can't wait.
coming. Yes. So prepare yourselves for the next week's episode because it's going to be a whole lot of jingling and jangling and slapping and a clapping.
It's going to be a jubilation.
A jubilation. A jubilee.
It's going to be when the Spirit of the Lord comes upon my heart. I will dance like David danced.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I want to know what kind of dances you think they did back then?
They spun around in a lot of circles.
Wait, what?
They spun around in a lot of circles.
That's it? Like
with their arms stretched out. And like...
I'll be listen. We'll be shocked if one day we
put
meet
the hands
people.
up. No, put the hands down.
If
Shout
they
out
was
to
out
Jada
there,
kids.
they were twerking and carrying on. We don't
Put your
know.
hands up. Nah, put your hands down. I love that song. Okay.
Somebody has the sillies today.
Yup.
It is what it is.
Yep.
So we are.
Why we both
back.
did
I
that?
don't know. God, we be doing that all the time. I'm sorry, y'all. That's
sorry.
This is Bible by Blacks though, and we are black women, and that's what we do.
Sure enough.
This ain't nothing new.
Nope.
So we're picking up where we left off.
Yes.
And where we left off was with Saul conjuring up a witch, losing his entire mind, and then he ends up dying.
Saul the unstable.
He was, for real though, because remember his mind was gone.
That's messed up.
So my thing is, you know what I equate this to? When you watch certain, let me phrase my words carefully. I know. When you watch certain celebrity rappers.
Oh, okay.
And you see that they losing it. And somebody still is, you know that they got people in their camp. And instead of having yes people or yes men, you be looking like, how come ain't nobody tell him to stop talking or stop doing that? Or
because they're on payroll.
well, listen, if I'm your homie and you put me on payroll, I'm supposed to be there to make you look good.
That is true.
I ain't supposed to be like, well, I'm just gonna sit back and let him do whatever he want to do, whether he look crazy or not, because I get my paycheck.
You know, Kevin Hart said that.
What?
And when his documentary is about his friends.
Yeah.
Same thing you just said. He was like, y'all supposed to be helping me out.
Right.
Then tell me when I'm messing up.
Right. Somebody should be like hold me accountable. Because yes, I could see easily power getting to someone's head. And I don't know.
Power.
Girl.
Speaking of the word power, quote unquote, I know who you're referencing.
Well, there's that.
But we're not gonna say his name.
We ain't bringing that up. We're just gonna pray for him. But either way, that was my thing with Saul. Like somebody should have been like, hey,
you messing up, bro.
Like not only you messing up, like maybe you just should need to take a chill pill and just sit this one out.
Maybe you shouldn't pretend that you know what you're doing, Saul. Maybe.
Right. Like go on and chill. Like he just conquered Goliath, won the battle for you against the Philistines. So why you know what I mean? Like why all of a sudden now you snap and tell me, he trying to take my spot. Like chill out.
It was David's fault. David's the one who actually helped them win against the Philistines.
Yeah.
So maybe he was showing early signs of jealousy and instability. Is that a word? Instability.
Instability. But look, if David, remember he called David a boy. Remember he was
You are a boy.
Yeah, you are a boy, David. But yeah, if he called him a boy, I'm thinking that Saul had to be probably like in his 40s. Because remember, Saul's son, Jonathan, was David's best friend.
Yeah.
So he's probably in 30s, 40s. You up there being jealous of some little teenage boy.
12-year-old.
Right. A little preteen.
I mean, it happens. Look at Michael Jackson. It's the Michael
You know
Jackson
what?
effect.
I'm sick of you bringing up Michael Jackson.
It's the one thing we can like.
I'm about sick of you. Okay. We don't know
Macaulay Culkin. People are jealous of Macaulay Culkin when he was in his prime. Can I use him?
Yeah, I guess
No,
so.
doesn't
Yeah.
hit the same.
Well, yeah, no, don't. It doesn't
Right.
hit the same. You're right. It doesn't.
Thank you. Shout out to the King of Pop.
I just don't want his family coming after us, okay?
What you do?
Randy might be like, listen, it wasn't like that. We loved our brother. We had love for him and we was happy.
If I get an email from Randy Jackson, not the American Idol Randy Jackson.
No,
the
gosh.
OG Randy
How about
Jackson.
how so many people was so confused on that? I was like, yo, that obviously is not his
Not even
brother.
close.
Jackson is a common black American name.
Not even close.
There's a lot.
There's a whole lot.
Okay.
But anyhow.
Yeah, but you know what? What we are about to discover is some of the things that do go down in the Bible does actually kind of touch back on some of the stuff that happened with the Jackson family.
I mean,
We had sisters marrying brothers or brother-in-laws. Mm-hmm. Because who was that?
in the Jackson family?
Yeah.
Tito and Randy.
So it was Randy's wife first, and then she married
it was Tito's
Jermaine.
wife first. It was Tito's wife first, and she married Randy.
She married not Jermaine.
No,
I thought one of them.
Jermaine didn't do none of that.
That's true. Jermaine
Had Hazel Gordy first, and then he had somebody. Hey, it's the truth. We have all seen the miniseries by this point. Okay, she's covering her mouth in laughter right now, but it's the truth. Jermaine did not fool around with stuff like that. He didn't deal with no common women.
He sure didn't, because he was
went
with Whitney
straight-
Houston.
Thank you.
Houston. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean,
didn't deal with all that.
I'm gonna tell y'all a little fun fact of my family. My older brother's middle name is not his middle name. His first name is Jermaine. He's named after Jermaine Jackson.
Ooh, like literally.
Yes, my mom loved
Wow.
Jermaine Jackson.
Wow. Okay, fun fact about me. I dated Jermaine, but I cannot call him Jermaine. He does not like that name.
It's so
He
weird.
goes by
I mean, Jeremy?
Jeremy?
I was asking.
No,
Is that what
he
you
goes
go
by
by? Like Jeremy?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Jay. See, my brother goes by Jay. We just call him Jay.
Yeah.
I do not call him, unless I'm mad, Jermaine.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's segue. Dang, what was his hit back in the day?
Jermaine Jackson?
Yeah.
Let's get serious.
There's that one, but the slow one.
Do what you
To
do when you do what you did to me.
Love is so easy. Okay. Sorry. Again.
This has nothing to do with that.
Well, I'm sorry. Some of it relates. Okay.
All
so
right.
we're going to pick it up. So basically, Saul ends up pretty much falling on his own sword. And after, realizing that the people are coming to love David and accept David as the possible king.
Yep.
So after this happens, and remember we were talking about how Jonathan got killed as well, his best friend, which is Saul's son. So that means one of his possible heirs, Saul's possible heirs, ain't getting the throne either, right?
Nope.
So David, who was, he grew up underneath them. That was his best friend. I think he had love for Saul. So it goes in to say that he was very sad. He, of course, remember how we talked about he was a harpist. So he sung a song about the death of Saul and his friend Jonathan. And then he ends up going to a place called Hebron, not LeBron,
I think it's Hebron.
but Hebron. Sure. Where his followers
call it
of, I guess it's
Dear God.
I guess the country is now split because they talk about southern tribes and northern tribes. So he goes down to Hebron, where there's a southern tribe of Judah, and they anoint David as the king, which we already know. I don't understand. What was the purpose of that? Because Samuel had already anointed him as king. He already went down there and picked
handpicked
David.
Samuel, was that official, or was it like...
Samuel is in charge. He was the OG.
Right, but did he write it in a ledger or something?
Yeah, I mean, it was like... I get what you're saying. I don't know if... There ain't no more tablets to write no commandments on.
Like, maybe he was like, okay, it wasn't like, one day you're going to be King David. Or was it like, I anoint you as king in the future?
I don't know. We didn't go into... I bet you if we probably went through all the thorough details of First Samuel, it might say that. But all I know is that Samuel did completely tell Saul, he was like, listen... You made a mistake and you can't be trusted. So we need to find another king, and God's going to lead me to find another king.
Okay, because Saul ain't dead yet. He's still very much alive. So that's why David's not a king yet, because Saul's alive.
Correct.
Okay, so maybe the people was like, we didn't really fool him with Saul.
Yeah, maybe it was like a backdoor conversation. Yeah. Like Samuel told Saul and told certain people, but the city of the people didn't know.
Just like in Game of Thrones, the King of the North. Like, wait a minute.
I am the King of the North. But what did he tell him? That doesn't... You may be... Remember when Robert Baratheon, when he was like, you may be King of the North, but I'm King of
the Westeros or
is
whatever.
That what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because he was like, you may be King of the North, but I'm King of
season
Westeros.
1.
That was season 1. He had to check him. He was like... You may be king of one section, but I grant you access to be king of that section.
You are the hand of the king.
If I say, he said, if I say you was hand of the king, you gonna be hand of the king. I was like, oh, okay. You know what? I appreciate you bossing up. Go on, boss up then.
Yep.
So, I guess maybe that's what happened. Maybe it was like a little backdoor thing. Either way. The town of the southern tribe of Judah, they end up anointing David as king. However, meanwhile, Saul's chief commander, Abner, look, another good simple name. Abner garners the support of the northern tribes and instates Saul's son. I can't do it. I'm going to let you do that one.
Ishbosheth. It's Ish dash.
Ish?
Flotitious.
Skeevy. Delicious.
Can we just shorten it and call him Ishbo?
Sure.
All right. Because we probably won't even talk about him much anyway.
I know, right? So the northern tribe tries to say... So Saul did have another son besides Jonathan. So you went from simple old Jonathan to complicated Ishbosheth. Ishbosheth. Anyway.
Ish. Let's say Ish. There you go.
Ish was supposed to be... They tried to make him king of Israel. And so a war ensues between... basically the South and the North.
Okay, sorry, it's another Game of Thrones universe reference. Isn't this just like in House of the Dragon when the Greens, the Hightowers, right?
Yeah.
Tried to anoint her son.
Girl, yes.
Uh-huh.
And they tried to do that behind his back. And then...
I mean, that... Actually, that's not how this goes.
Spoiler alert.
Right.
When that king came down with his eye falling out of his socket and half his face coming off from leprosy, and he hobbled with his little cane and came and said, what's going on here?
This is not what I said.
And they were like, we was just trying. He said, I ain't said, that ain't what I said. I already told y'all who was going to be next in line.
That man was holding on by a thread for like 4 episodes.
And I imagine if Saul was alive at this point, that would have been that's probably how he looked.
Like Viserys, I think that was his name, right?
Oh, the king? I think so. I think Viserys Veneris? I think Rhaenyra was the daughter.
Yeah.
Or was it? There's Rhaenyra. Listen, I think you're right. I think you're right. Okay. I think it's King.
Keep going. I'm gonna roll back.
That's okay. She gonna find it anyways. But yes, I keep telling Miss J, I equate this actually. A lot of what we're about to go over reminds me of Braveheart. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Fun fact: I do not remember Braveheart that much.
That's my favorite movie.
I'm not going to age myself, but I was a young lad when that came out.
Okay.
And I remember it being really violent.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's like, duh.
Duh, it's war.
That's right. It's bad war. So no, I don't think I ever like gotten a chance to like revisit it.
Oh my gosh, you need to rewatch that. It's such a good movie. Because it's talking about, how the King of England is trying to take Ireland, and they're online and they had
big
the
deal with
king.
Mel Gibson. Because
right.
Is Mel Gibson Irish? Because he was playing like.
Oh, I said Irish. Ooh, Scottish.
It's Scottish.
Yeah,
okay.
Scottish. But I don't know if he is Scottish. But that like the guy. The character is Scottish. Anyways,
didn't he get like an Academy Award for a nominee or something?
Girl, yeah, he directed. He got all kinds of awards.
Yeah,
he got awards for that. He got awards for, remember, Passion of the Christ. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Segue.
Sorry.
Passion of the Christ. I forced myself to watch that every year. I don't know why, and I boo-hoo like a big old baby.
You not cat? I'm sorry.
Every year. I
saw it one time, and that was enough for me.
I saw it in the movie theater when it came out. I don't remember half the movie because half the movie I spent crying, so I couldn't see. And then, like I said, every time I can watch it at home during Easter's, I don't know why. I feel like, it's the Passover, let me cry.
Nope. It's the Passover, let me cry.
Yeah, like no,
because it's Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, so a war basically ensues, and there's stuff going back and forth, right? So when all of a sudden Ish, right, who this guy Abner is trying to put on the throne as the king, Ish, he ends up falsely accusing Abner of sleeping with one of the royal concubines.
No, that's just dirty.
So now a concubine is a wife, right?
Sister wife, essentially.
Okay, so he has several wives. This isn't like his just side piece. Like, do they have a main wife and then they have side pieces?
They are like side pieces, but they're not like hidden. They're like known.
Right.
Yeah.
But they are side pieces. So they're not the main.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
So why are you mad then? Why are you mad if
she's literally for everybody.
If he possibly ran up on your side piece, why are you mad?
But it says she's a royal side piece. So she has a certain title, I guess. She can't just lay with anybody.
Listen.
I don't know.
She belongs to the possible king because, like, you're not even really king, dude.
You're really not.
Anyways, so basically, because he gets falsely accused, Abner ends up going and switching sides and taking David's side all of a sudden. And wants to put David. So see, you was wrong from the beginning. You shouldn't have been doing what you was doing, and now you got to go run up to David and probably apologize, beg for his forgiveness. But I guess David's pretty forgiving because he says he welcomes his support.
Remember, all David want to do is sing and dance. He's not even ready to like.
I just want to play my harp,
right,
and mind my business.
He's still kind of cocky though, but
true. That's very true. And so Abner convinces the other tribes now to go ahead and recognize David's claim to the throne. Someone named Joab, however, seeks revenge for his brother's earlier death at Abner's hands. So Abner must have killed somebody along the line.
That's pretty,
I mean, he's the chief commander, so I'm pretty sure, he's a skilled warrior.
Yeah.
So someone named Joab.
Yeah.
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 Ends up being upset and seeks revenge against Abner. He stabs Abner in secret.
Wow. So he lured him into, he was like, hey, man.
Right.
I got these new tiles, these new cement tiles for my quarters. You want to check them out really fast?
Right.
I need an opinion.
Yeah. That or either he had a cloak in the middle of the night, just came run up and shivved him. Right. Shiv. Shake. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, dang, war was brutal back then.
Man.
So then David has a public censure of Joab, and he mourns for Abner, which wins the respect of Israel.
And public censure is like a, hey man, he's wrong type of thing.
Yeah, like maybe a public display, like a rebuke.
I rebuke you, Joab.
I rebuke Joab.
Anybody see him, you can get it.
Yeah. Or unless censure means something else we don't know. Like a public whipping or something.
A flogging. He's got 40 lashes.
Probably. You know, they used to do that stuff back then. And the public, I never understood that. I don't understand it all the way back then. And I don't understand it in the, like, during the British Empire when people have, like, public hangings and stuff like that. Like, come, bring your kids. It's like, that's crazy to me.
That's just too extreme for me.
We talked about that in Samson and Delilah. Remember when they were, like, had gouged out his eyes and was, in like, parading around? Yeah, and there was like, hey, everybody, like, the whole town, come see.
I don't want to see that.
No.
Write about it and tell me. I don't want to see it.
I would like to. That's just.
Yeah, I don't want to look at that. That's not like public, whatever.
Let me read about, like I said, in the news.
In the Gazette. It's real Gazette. These are like daily.
Gazette here. Get your Gazette. Fresh Gazettes.
The Israelite daily news.
Daily news.
Joab gets 40 lashes in the town square. Approved by David. Come to Gazette's here.
A flogging is afoot. Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Sorry, y'all.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So, anyways. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The visual of a child coming around with rolled up
Like a scroll. Yeah. With a little ribbon around it. Get your Gazette here. On the fourth moon, we'll be in the court. Come read all about it.
Because we know there's somebody who missed that public censure and was like, what happened? I couldn't make it that day. Let me get this Gazette. Come here, boy. Come here.
I was traveling to go purchase 2 donkeys. I missed everything that was happening. They did have doggone it. Oh, y'all gonna be mad at us. If they did have a paper or some type of news, what would the gossip column be? Like, you know how now we have Bridgerton? What would they call it? Jezebel.
Jezebel's Corner.
Jezebel's Corner. Get all your good gossip inside of Jezebel's Corner. Find out who's sleeping with who.
Word on the cobblestones.
The new royal concubines.
Oh God, my side hurts. My side hurts. Oh my God.
I'm about to choke.
Oh man, I had to take my glasses off.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. They have ads looking for 2 asses to sell.
What if they had an obituary section?
Oh no.
All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I take full ownership for this tangent.
I was going to say that you cannot put that on Regina. That was Miss J who started it. I just ran with it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we're going to bring it back. Bring it back.
All right. After the public censure, we're going to move on. Okay.
Okay, so David has now led the Israelites into conquering the city of Jerusalem.
Okay.
Excuse me. He erects his place there and he calls it the city of David, which is also known as Zion.
Yes.
So this is where we have Zion, everybody.
And everybody who is black has a child, nephew, cousin, play cousin, best friend named Zion.
Somebody is named Zion.
We love that name.
Way down the road.
You know whose fault it is? It's Lauryn Hill's fault because she named her son Zion. Her first son. She made that whole song about him too. Mm-hmm. Now the joy in my world is Zion. Okay, we all know. Plus, Jamaicans love the word Zion too, because Bob Marley loved the word Zion. Okay, carry on.
I'm gonna go see his true story next
I
year.
don't think I want to.
Okay, we will talk about that later. All right, because I have a problem with that one. So it says that basically it goes on to talk about David wins a couple of other victories. With the help of 30,000 Israelites, David ends up bringing the Ark of the Covenant back to
Ark
Jerusalem.
of the Covenant, boy, it's been around.
Let me tell you,
generations, has it not?
Right, because it's been around, and I'm pretty sure it's like if you move me one more time, I don't know what to tell y'all. So, it says it's the embarrassment of his wife. Remember we talked about him having the first wife, which was Saul's daughter, Michael. Right. So
Michelle, it's a girl.
Okay, fine, whatever. Oh, like there's a Michael Michelle.
Yeah, but it's Michael Michelle, but Michael is spelled Michael for her.
Well, that's true. You're right. Okay, sorry. Anyways, so he was so excited about them bringing the Ark of the Covenant back that he decided to leap in front of the ark and started to dance. And this apparently embarrassed his wife.
Here he go.
And so David rebukes her, claiming that he will humiliate himself as much as he wants to, as long as it pleases God. So I don't know what kind of dance David broke off and did. I don't know if he was moonwalking.
Didn't you ask earlier before we got started?
Yeah.
What type of dances they did back in the day? I said they had their arms out probably to the side, spun around in circles.
That's probably was traditional, but she said he was embarrassing. So
David had no rhythm.
Well, either that or everyone didn't have rhythm and David did, and that threw him off.
So everybody was two-stepping, but David was dancing.
David was out there popping and locking.
So it could be like Footloose. Remember the movie Footloose? And they were like, what are you doing?
Right. You ain't supposed to dance like that. That's of the devil.
So maybe that's what it was.
Maybe. Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
Mike, David, stop that. What are you doing? Hi, I'm so sorry, guys. He does this at home. I didn't expect for him to do it here.
Yeah. So God is pleased that David has a permanent home now for the ark and reveals a message to David's prophet Nathan. Now, unfortunately, because again, due to time restraints, we can't. I'm not going to go back and read where Nathan came along, you guys, but along this whole story, a new prophet came about, and his name was Nathan.
Right.
So God vows to grant Israel rest from foreign opposition and promises that the kingdom of David will last forever. Now, a lot of people will take that and think that he's talking about the land kingdom. He's talking about the kingdom that ends up becoming underneath, Jesus Christ. His again.
People did take that, and to this day they still take that literal.
Right, take it literal. And it's like it's not. No. Just
you
go back and read it. Yeah. So it goes on to say that So no, he didn't kill Joab. He must have, like we said, flogged him, because then it says that Joab actually helps David subdue some of the other nations in the surrounding area.
Okay, I'm just gonna Google public censure because
apparently now we need to know. I am curious. What's on the censure? Fourth night of the moon.
Okay. It's okay, I have a definition. A censure is a public reprimanding of a public official or political party representative for inappropriate conduct or voting behavior. When the president is censured, it serves only as a condemnation and has no direct effect on the ability of the presidency, nor are there any particular legal consequences. So he didn't get flogged.
Okay.
He got yelled at.
So this isn't like what movie was that? You might remember the name of it. Do you remember that movie where someone of higher authority got in trouble? This had to be like Caesar times, because I remember being a cloak and they ripped it off. They were like, so whoever someone did long and they ripped it in public off of him. And he was shamed or shunned or something.
I feel like that happens in
I feel like it was in 300. Do you remember that movie? Oh my gosh. You know what?
Your headset looks pretty today.
You need to get caught up on some of these movies.
You look nice today.
That's a shame.
Listen, okay, was the 300 that comic-y looking movie or something?
Kinda. It's a very graphic-y looking movie.
Who's in it? Is it Gerard Butler?
Yeah, that's Gerard Butler.
I don't like his face.
It doesn't matter. It's not about his face.
Because I don't like Tom Cruise. I'm not going to watch all his movies.
Yeah, but this movie is his. We will talk about this after this.
This is Sparta. That's the same movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is Sparta.
I think I got bored after that.
How do you get bored with these kind of movies, but yet you like Game of Thrones? I don't get it.
Because of Jon Snow.
Okay.
If you had more actors that look like Kit Harington in these movies.
Okay, and we're going to move past this. And we're just going
So yes, now I'm going to public censure.
I guess she will never watch a movie about King David unless Kit was playing David.
Listen, you let Jon Snow babe play King David?
So, yes, you were saying about Kit Harington?
I'm just saying, if he played King David in any shape or form, I would be there.
Because this everything was hot back then. He gonna be running around with no shirt on, loincloth.
That man is gorgeous. I'm sorry.
You know he's short.
He is, but it's fine. Continue.
Okay, yes. Before someone gets hot and bothered up in here. So now this is where Ish gets a little bit real with David.
Okay.
My man starts watching women bathe from the rooftop of his palace.
Why did David become a peeping Tom?
I don't know.
What was it?
Listen.
Wait, hold on now. It wasn't all women. It was just one woman.
Yes.
Okay. So he's married.
He's married. Mm-hmm.
Married to Michael Michelle, whatever her name is. Shout out. But then he notices a woman bathing from the rooftop of his palace. And then he summons her. And you want me to go into that?
Yep, no, keep going. You go for it.
He summons her, and her name is Bathsheba. Bathsheba. And he has relations with her, and then she becomes pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
Pregnant. Unable to disguise his indiscretion, he sends her, she was married to Uriah, her husband Uriah, to die on the battlefield. Wait a minute. What did Uriah have to do with any of this? He an innocent man.
Because David could not marry her if she already has a
David. So wait. Am I to understand, because I do not know the background information of David like this. Did he divorce Michael Michelle and marry Bathsheba?
No.
Okay.
No. This is remember when we talked about how Noah was a good man and he did so right, and then all of a sudden he fell so hard and got drunk?
Yeah.
It's another thing. It's like David is, he's a king, he's great. And he is a man, and this comes up, right? This is the theme of David. He is a man after God's heart, right? He wants to please and serve God. And that is in him, but he's a man. He still falls short.
Right.
But unfortunately, his shortcomings.
But you're abusing your power at this point.
Yeah.
How you gonna kill off the woman's husband?
It's like we said, he had a burning for the yearning.
Keep yearning. So wait a minute, poor Uriah. Let me touch on that real quick. That man probably wasn't even a warrior. They probably thrust him into the army. Was like, you going?
Yeah. He was probably like a farmer.
Okay.
And he probably just tilled to the land. And then they were like, David was probably like, how do I?
What do I do?
Yeah, like how do I get away with this?
So then it goes on to say, so David eventually does marry Bathsheba, but Nathan confronts the king about his wrongdoing. Nathan's a snitch. He tells a parable about a wealthy man who steals a poor man's only prized sheep.
Not compare the woman to a sheep.
Yeah. David is outraged by such tomfoolery. And Nathan says to David that the parable is about you. I ain't make this up. This is real life. This is about you. Can you believe that? Like, what?
Like, let me tell you a story. The story I know about a man who goes around and steals other men's sheep.
And he said sheep.
Right. Sheep. And then how do you how dirty of a man would do that? How do you think that the other men should feel? David's probably like, oh, he deserves to die. He going around and stealing other people's sheep.
You can't just take everybody's sheep like that.
Right. Like who what? They probably said, what man? Give me a name. What man is doing this?
No. It was, who said that?
Who said that?
Who said that?
On my land?
Who said that? Nathan said, this is about you.
This his name is David.
And the sheep is Bathsheba.
Bathsheba.
Get what? This is about you. They was like, we not finna do that. No.
So I'm gonna go back to the actual scripture, and this occurs in 2 Samuel chapter 11. Late one afternoon, after his midday rest, David got out of bed and was walking on the roof of the palace. As he looked out over the city, he noticed a woman of unusual beauty taking a bath. You should have closed your eyes, Mr. Married Man. He sent someone to find out who she was, and he was told she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah, the Hittite. Then David sent a message to go get her, and when she came to the palace, he slept with her. Okay, so you went and slept with her already before you even had her husband go out into the fields. Okay. She had just completed the purification rites after having her menstrual period. Okay, so I didn't know that the story was going to go that deep.
I don't want to talk about
guess that needed to be said for whatever reason to say that. In other words, she was ovulating. That's part of. So she returned home later when Bathsheba discovered she was pregnant. She sent a message saying, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, I'm pregnant, and it's yours.
So, yeah, that's why it was important for them to say that.
Because
this
2 months ago, Uriah was
after.
farming that day that you called me to come to the palace. So I know it's not his. He was out there with the sheep.
Then David sent word to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite. So Joab sent him to David. When Uriah arrived, David asked him how Joab and the army were getting along and how the war was progressing. Then he told Uriah, go on home and relax. David sent a gift to Uriah after he had left the palace, but Uriah didn't go home. He slept that night in the palace entrance with the king's place guard. When David heard that Uriah had not gone home, he summoned him and asked, what's the matter? Why didn't you go home last night after being away for so long? Uriah replied, the ark and the armies of Israel and Judah are living in tents, and Joab is my master's men are camping. And my master's man are camping in the open fields. How could I go home to wine and dine and sleep with my wife? I swear I would never do such a thing. And he said, so David said, well, stay here today, and tomorrow you can then go back and return to the army. So Uriah stayed in Jerusalem that day, and then David invited him to dinner, and then he got him drunk. But even then, he couldn't get Uriah to go home to his wife, and because he said in the thing or whatever. So basically, the next morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and gave it to Uriah. The letter instructed Joab to station Uriah on the front lines where the battle, of the battlefield, and then pull back so that he will be killed.
That is grimy.
So Joab assigned Uriah to a spot close to the city wall where he knew the enemy's strongest men were fighting, and then the enemy soldiers came out to the city and fight. Uriah the Hittite was killed along with several other Israelite soldiers.
They got ambushed.
Yup. Then Joab sent a battle report to David. He told his messenger, "Pro the news of reporting the news. Better of the king." Sorry, I had to do it. He might get angry and ask, why did the troops go so closely to the city? Did they know that there would be a shooting from the walls? Wasn't Abimelech, son of Gideon, killed that way? Why would you get so close to a wall? And he said, then tell him Uriah the Hittite was killed also. So, in other words,
Uriah the Hittite killed in battle! Get your gazettes here!
Gazettes here! News on the front line! The battle ensues! We are so sorry.
You said it. Or the Bible did it. It's not my fault.
I couldn't help it.
He said something to do.
So that is how Uriah passed away, everybody. And my question though to you, Miss J, is if Bathsheba wouldn't have ended up pregnant, would he have done all this?
Nah.
Because he would have just been like, hey, it was one night of fun.
It was some wham, bam, thank you, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so again, yeah, I think it was, it was important for them to mention that she had, that they were intimate 2 weeks after her menstruation, which is ovulation, peak ovulation.
Peak ovulation.
And so she got
her
pregnant.
window was wide open.
Right.
If they had fertilization calendars back then,
right,
it would have said high probability.
Listen, she would have been stressed looking at her, thinking like, oh,
wait a minute.
Oh no! Like, oh shoot, that was in my peak ovulation.
Oh, what phase is the moon in, you guys?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Listen, her handmaid was like, "You looking a little full. Like, what's going on?
Your cheeks look a little flushed.
Yeah, a little flush.
You okay?
She probably had this. She's probably had morning sickness. She had to go back to her counter. Like, hold up. If put the rock 2 weeks up, if I put the rock on this row, oh no.
Hey, wait, what you think a pregnancy test was like back then?
When you
she
said
had to pee on?
You said last week they was peeing on rocks and turning them yellow.
So she peed on the rock. If it turned a certain color, she was stressed.
Okay. She was like, oh man, my husband off on the war. He been gone for months.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna be talked about. I don't
you know what this reminds me of? Remember the musical Chicago? Mm-hmm. Remember when they said Roxy Hart was pregnant while she was in jail?
Yeah.
And the husband was like, yeah, sure, she's pregnant, but then he realized that's not my baby.
Right. Like, wait a minute, how?
Because I wasn't with her when that whole thing went down.
Like, hold up.
So Uriah's probably like,
the math ain't math.
Mathin', right. Like, that's not mine.
Like, that's not, ain't no way that can be
He's
mine.
probably like, oh, you pregnant? Okay.
Well, but at least he wasn't like, that ain't my baby.
Right. They like seem to be excited almost, or
right, but
happy because they end up getting married anyway. So,
I mean, we talked about concubines. I don't know. So it says the Lord sent Nathan the prophet to tell David this story. So
about the sheep.
Yes. So there were two men in a certain town. One was rich and one was poor. The rich man owned a great many sheep, cattle. The poor man owned nothing but one little lamb. That's all he had. One little lamb.
Uriah and the lamb.
He raised that little lamb. It grew up with his children. He ate from the man's own plate. He drank from his cup. He cuddled it in his arms like a baby daughter. One of the guests arrived at the home of the rich man, and instead of him killing the animal from his own flock or herd, he took the poor man's lamb and killed it and prepared it. So, in other words, you got a whole bunch of flock of lambs. I got one, and you show up, and instead of you killing one of your own lambs, you take my one and only.
That's called being greedy.
Here go David. As surely as the Lord lives, he vowed. Any man who would do such a thing deserves to die. Oh, both loud and wrong.
Right. David.
So Nathan said to David, you are that man. Like,
this you, playboy.
Yes, like the Lord of God, Israel says, I anoint you king of Israel, and you saved you from the power of Saul. I gave you your master's house, his wives, his kingdoms, Israel and Judah. And if that had not been enough, I would have given you much, much more. So why did you despise the word of God and done such a horrible thing? Because you murdered Uriah.
I don't know if it says it in the text, but I'm sure David was like, because I wanted to.
You gonna say that to the prophet?
He probably.
I mean, you are king. I guess he could have bossed up.
And we already said David was cocky. I was like, because I did it and what you gonna do?
Right. And so the prophet tells him, because of what you did, I will cause your own household to rebel against you. I'm going to give your wives to another man before your eyes, and he will go to bed with them in public view. You did what you did in secret, but because I'm God, I'm gonna do what I do in public so everybody can see it, is what he says. So, of course, he got scared and he confessed to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And he was like, okay, well, yes, the Lord has forgiven you and you won't die for this sin. However, nevertheless, because you've shown utter contempt for the word of the Lord by doing this, your child will die.
Yep. And the son, the text say son? Because the summary says son.
Let me see.
Because it says here, Bathsheba, I have to say it like that. Son dies during childbirth. But then they have another son, and we know his name.
What's his name?
Solomon.
Okay, that's not a song at all. You guys.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I made that up.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So yeah, the child died. It says it was on the 7th day that the child died. And it doesn't say if it was a son or a daughter.
Well, somebody got word that it was a boy.
Right, somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not here. But listen, so yes, and that is very heartbreaking anytime a child has to die, especially because of what their parents did. That's horrible. But it's not like he doesn't disown Bathsheba because she's still his wife, and it says it goes on. He sleeps with her again. She becomes pregnant again, and then she has a son named Solomon.
Yeah. So Bathsheba knew she was marrying up, basically.
Listen.
She said, you know what? I'm cool with it. I'm cool. I know who you are, David. That's cool.
Right.
The person who I feel bad for is Michael Michelle because she's no longer mentioned at all.
So, like, it's almost like when they talk about I'm the queen of consort or whatever. Like,
girl.
Like, oh, well, I'm the main queen. You can't denounce me in my title, but now I'm just here.
Yeah.
To
occupied
do it.
Because, yeah.
Okay. So it goes on to say that David has an older son named Amnon. This part, unfortunately, you guys, is a bit graphic. He falls in love with his younger sister, Tamar, and he does something. I'm not even going to say what it is. I'll ask y'all to go read that in the Bible, but he does something really bad to his sister. David gets very upset, but he does nothing about it. But instead, in retaliation, Tamar's other brother Absalom invites Amnon out. Amnon's the one who did wrong. So Absalom brings him out, and Absalom and the other brothers end up murdering Amnon.
Well, I cannot say that I feel bad for Amnon.
Me either.
Because of what he did.
Yeah, no, you was wrong, bro. Way
Absalom
wrong.
Is a G. He was like, yo, you want to go shoot at some deer with me? Come on, let's go.
Like, hey, it's hunting day.
Yes.
Wink.
Right. Let's go.
Yeah. So, but because of what Absalom did, he does end up being afraid, and he flees to a remote city for 3 years. And then after David ended up passing the time mourning for his Amnon, he allows Absalom to come back to Jerusalem.
Okay, David sounds like a horrible parent. I'm sorry.
Like, listen, it started with Adam and Eve. We was having problems from the jump.
The parenting in the Bible is subpar.
Man, I need them to. They all need super nanny.
I mean, a biblical super nanny because.
However, even though Absalom comes back, he ends up plotting a conspiracy, forming an army, and winning the hearts of the Israelite people through displays of warmth and kindness. Supported by David's chief counselor, Absalom goes to Hebron again, where his followers pronounce him king. Informed of this event, David flees from Jerusalem with his men, and the people of the countryside weep as he marches by. One of Saul's relatives, so remember, this is Saul, the previous king, however, curses and throws stones at the band, gloating over David's demise. David forbids his attendants to punish the man.
Ooh. So one of Saul's crazy uncles is back throwing stones from the
You get what you deserve! You know what? I shouldn't laugh at this, but I wonder if it was like, you know how, unfortunately, all the celebrities right now are being hit with stuff at their concerts, I don't understand why people throwing.
I don't either.
The cell phones straight in their dome. Like, are you talking about? Oh, I just wanted to have a piece of me. What in the world?
Back in the day, people were throwing like draws and draws and stuff. Something light. flowers. Not people,
Remember me!
right. People throwing cell phones and just drink.
Like, why can't you have a wadded up paper with your name and number on it? Throw that up there.
I don't know.
Anyways. But yes, it sounds like as he was walking by, someone's like, you.
All hail King David.
Right. And so Absalom enters Jerusalem where in a display of defiance, so this is where the prophecy came back. Remember when he was like, what you did in secret, what I'm going to have someone return to you, and it's going to happen in public. So yeah, I guess yes, like you said, the concubines is here to do the job they was paid to do because they wildin'. So basically, like we said, this prophecy has come full circle. So when Absalom enters Jerusalem, in a display of defiance, he has sex with David's concubines. So remember, this is
concubines.
Yeah, this is payback for what David did to Uriah.
There's more than one, either more than one or more than one occasion.
That's what Nathan told David. He was like, you had sex, you took one thing from one man, but I'm gonna take all your women, all of them.
Well,
so Absalom's aides advised him to attack David immediately, but one of David's officials, pretending to support Absalom, persuades Absalom to wait. This delay gives David the time to muster an army, and his forces kill 20,000 of Absalom's followers in the forest of Ephraim.
Hold on, time. Mm-hmm. Flag on the play. 20,000 of Absalom's followers. Why are there so many people?
This is what the Pharaoh of Egypt was afraid of. This is why he was like, there's too many of them. Like, I don't know how fertile these Israelites is, because all the stories we keep hearing about the women be struggling with their infertility, but the rest of these women is fertile as I don't know what.
How do you get a head count?
Because 20,000?
Like, who sat there and was like, I think it's
and this is just army.
20,000 of his people.
Like, that's just the army, though. That ain't even like the village, the town, the city.
Is there like a census or something that comes around and whose army are you with?
From the
like, I don't know. Don't do it. I see what's the problem.
It's time for annual census. Be sure to fill out the gazette. It's because the circular's coming around the town square.
They probably had a pebble for each member of the family. A little cup outside the door. Like 1, 2, 3.
Three in the Thompson community.
2, 4.
4 in the Jackson clan.
Oh, I'm at 20. I'm at 20 in the Jones house.
Right. Okay, I'm so sorry, y'all. This turned out to be a very silly episode.
Oh man, this is great though.
Okay, so basically, Absalom ends up catching. So David ends up mustering the army of the 20,000. He kills 20,000 of Absalom's followers. Riding along, Absalom ends up catching his own head in the branches of a tree. Joab ignores David's instructions to treat Absalom gently and drives 3 spears into Absalom's hanging body.
Joab wanted that fire.
Right. When David is notified of Absalom's death, because this is still his son, right? So he weeps, screaming repeatedly, "Oh, my son, Absalom! Oh, my son, my son!" I'm wondering. Crazy. So I'm wondering, Absalom is his son with Michal Michelle.
I think it is with Michal. I'm just guessing. It sounds like it.
Because Bathsheba is Solomon's, right? So to the frustration of his officials, David shows mercy to all of Absalom's supporters who approach him for forgiveness, especially Absalom's commander, Amasa. David sends messengers to the leader of Judah, and the tribe welcomes him back to Jerusalem. The remaining tribes, Absalom's chief supporters, fear that David will be angry at them. An uprising ensues, but Joab traps the rebels in the city, and the city's residents hand over the severed heads of the rebel leader. Angered that David has shown mercy to Amasa, Joab stabs Amasa one day while pretending to
is
Now, remember,
Crazy.
Joab was the one that he forgave.
Yes.
So you done forgave this man, or you public
The public censure.
censure.
All about the public censure. Wait.
So he Joab in the town square. So he forgave this man. And all you did was do a public rebuke of him and let him live. And now he wildin'. He done stabbed and killed your son. He over here killing other people that you ain't give authority to kill.
He wants his dignity and his stature back. So he was like, what am I going to do?
He said that public announcement. It was
It
embarrassing.
messed with him, right? It messed him up. He said, I can't go out like that. I'm down bad.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so we say that to... Oh, Lord. So that pretty much wraps up the majority of the second Samuel. Now, there is a few more chapters when you go back into the Bible and read, starting in 2 Samuel chapter 16, where you see that unfortunately David still can't get it right. I don't understand. So, but David, it says David, he goes beyond the summit of the Mount of Olives, Ziba, the servant of, I ain't going to try to pronounce this name, Mephibosheth.
I don't want to.
Okay, was waiting there for him. He had 2 donkeys loaded with 200 loaves of bread, 100 clusters of ravens, and some fruit and whatnot. And who are these for, is what the king asked Ziba. Ziba replied, the donkeys are for the king's people to ride on, and the bread and the summer fruit are for the young men to eat. The wine is for those who become exhausted in the wilderness. And where is Mephibosheth, Saul's grandson, is what the king asked him. He said, well, he stayed in Jerusalem, Ziba replied. And he said, today I will get back the kingdom of my grandfather Saul. In that case, the king told Ziba, I give you everything with
How many letters is in that name?
Mephibosheth.
Sounds like when you hit the keyboard.
Right.
And your fingers hit the phone, whatever. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 letters in that man's name.
Child. Okay.
I bow before you, Ziba replied. May I always be pleasant to you, my lord. And so, again, there's some additional stories that come about in the book of 2 Samuel. There's a lot of David kind of just falls short on certain things, and not to mention Saul. Some of Saul's family is still out there and they're still enraged. So there's another story I'm not going to go into, you guys, where basically he went into a town and more people were upset because they knew who he was because it was Saul's family. They threw some stones out of him and they called him a murderer and a scoundrel and they cursed him and all this other stuff happened. As he was, trying to just pretty much just venture and ride along his land.
Okay, so I have a question for you and also our listeners. Being that we've talked about David like this, we've only touched a little bit, but do you think he's really important?
Well, we know he's important because, again, Jesus comes from his lineage, which is,
right.
From Ruth. And as you pointed out last episode, he is the first ever king.
Okay, so where does he rank in terms of quote unquote great man of the Bible? Just for you, your
me personally.
Yeah. Oh
well,
my.
I can't remember his name right now. It escapes me. My favorite person of the Bible is the guy that it says that the Lord enjoyed his company so much that they would converse, and he enjoyed his company so much that he just walked literally up to heaven one day with the Lord.
Okay.
That is my favorite story of my favorite person, and when we get there, I'll get there. I like that one, and I love the story of the man that you keep confusing with David, Daniel in the lion's den.
Daniel,
right? But as far, I mean, he does. I'll say this: he has great attributes. So we'll put it that way. As far as him being a man after God's own heart, stuff like that, I do appreciate that. Yes, even though he realizes I've done wrong and I've sinned, I still do 100% love the Lord and want to please the Lord and do things for the Lord. But I am still human. Yeah. And I think that's the struggle we all have now, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people, especially when you're Christian, you're born again, we can't, there's no perfect human. There isn't. There was only one, and his name was Jesus, okay? And so when you sit there and you try to strive to be perfect, you're only human. So you still we all fall short. We all fall short. Now, we fall down, but we get up. Is he important? He is absolutely important. It also goes, his story when he was younger shows that, you may be puny and scrawny, but you still have, as long as you have the strength of the Lord, you can accomplish many things and conquer many things.
That's what I was getting toward, because we've heard so much of David as a youngster, and now he slayed Goliath and everything. And that's where we understand and recognize the importance of David and that strength and that personality and that everything. But when you read all the rest of it, it's like, wait, I feel like I've been bamboozled here a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
just a little bit. It's like you said, we all fall short. We all have our shortcomings. We all have our temptations. But, at least he prayed about it.
Yeah. I mean, what we are trying to strive for and do here is pretty much like adult versions of Bible stories, okay? So it's not gonna be a cute little sugar coated
like my children's Bible.
Yeah, like the children's Bible. It ain't gonna be he did this and bloop, he hit him in the forehead and yay, King David was great. Like, we gonna get into the nitty gritty of it. Like, yeah, he was great. Yes, he did that. And was he a great king? Yes, but he did have some faults and he made mistakes. Some of these mistakes were kind of gruesome, but like having someone murdered. But but he still tried to make sure that he always carried out what the Lord wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it does go into, and I'm not going to bore you guys with this, but when you go and read it, it does talk about, like, he was very promiscuous.
When you go and read it in the...
extra! Read all about it. David caught in the alley in the back with Shemitah.
I swear, I'm sorry. Just the visual in my brain, and I hope you all have one in yours too, but that is hilarious to me. I'm sorry.
It is. And unfortunately, because of his wrongdoing, right? I don't want to use the word cursed, but his downfall ended up being the struggle of a battle with him and his own son. Mm-hmm. It looks like for years they kind of go back and forth of, trying to fight and whatnot. So, I know what that was. You know what's funny though?
Yeah.
To wrap this up, in the Bible, in the last chapter of 2 Samuel 24.
Oh Lord, what is it?
I'm just going to show you the title. I'm going to let you read it.
David takes a census. Okay. Hi. I'm with David. He wants to do a census. So can you tell me how many? 1, 2, 3. Wait, hold on. I see. Is it 15 members in this household? Okay. There's a baby. 16. Okay. Oh wait, she's not born. Okay. So we'll go with 15. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
So you guys, in the very last chapter, 2 Samuel 24.
Oh my God.
It says, and I quote, David takes a census. So it goes into saying, once again, the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he caused David to harm them by taking a census.
Pause. Wait. Don't go no further, because we have not discussed what God has been doing for a couple of episodes. We left off somewhere in season 1, was like, he's like, I'm just fed up with y'all. So now he's come back and said, you know what? Take a census.
He said, take a census. And so this is the order. Go and count the people of Israel and Judah. That's what the Lord told him. Oh my God. So the king said to Joab and the commanders of the army, take a census. Oh, I'm containing myself to not leave my character. Oh no. Take a census of all the tribes of Israel, from Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south, so I may know how many people there are. Round up the census. Let it be known, King David has commanded a local census of all the tribes. Put your pebbles out on the front door. One poor person. To sum it up, it says, having gone through the entire land for 9 months, in 20 days, they ended up returning to Jerusalem. Joab reported the number of the people of the king. There were 800,000 capable warriors in Jerusalem who could handle a sword, and 500,000 in Judah.
That's a lot of people.
There are already over 1 million people.
Wow.
That's insane.
So these ladies are... Okay, so they had a period of infertility. That's past, because these jokers is popping them out. As soon as the child comes out, let's get started again. Because you're fertile.
Right. So, again, you guys, to sum it all up, David was a man after God's own heart, as they say, and he tried his best to do what's right. But he was just a man. And this goes back to when what was his name? Samuel.
Yeah.
When they told him, we want a king. And he said, y'all don't want no king. Y'all don't need no king. We don't need no man. Trying to leave this, we need to stick to being led by the priests and the prophets. But this goes back to him saying, this is why you weren't supposed to have no king. But either way, it ended up being David. David did serve for a long time. And
what?
I'm still laughing about the census, doggone it.
That is punishment. I'm not gonna sit here and count all these pebbles because you made God angry. What? Why I gotta do it?
So, but yeah, to wrap it up, to go back to what you were saying earlier, I mean, what does David represent for you?
I said it a little bit earlier. Like, he is a good, I don't say good man of God after what we've discussed today, but he's a good representation of, what happens when you are a little too cocky and you kind of get humbled in a sense, and you let your power, like you abuse your power, and then try to absolve for it.
Right.
Sometimes it's a little too late, and then something tragic happens, like your son, But
along the lines of, like you were saying, great men, like where's he?
Where does he rank?
Yeah, where's he rank for you?
No, because you know who my great man was, but after hearing about what he went through. So see, the thing is with me, I have always had David as a youngster in my brain. So like it's hard to like conceptualize him as a man. Okay. Because I'm just so used to David and Goliath.
Goliath story. Mm-hmm.
Right. But I guess he probably in the top 20 somewhere. I don't know about a specific number, but he up there. Okay. Because a lot of religions mention David anyway. Like, he's important. I don't want to get too technical, but David's an important figure in Judaism. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to touch that entirely because that's not my wheelhouse. I don't know.
Right.
But he's of, certain importance.
Yeah. He is. Like I said, I mean, he's the first ever king.
Right.
And he, again, I mean, like we were saying earlier, he goes in and write the book of Psalms.
Yes.
And
that's right.
and there's a lot of that comes out of that, a lot of good prayers. And, even though he didn't structure prayer, but a lot of what we do nowadays from prayer comes from Psalms, the Lord's Prayer and all the rest of them that, I can't tell you the names of what they are, but a lot of that comes from him. So, he did have, like we said, a connection there, and he did follow his prophet Nathan, and, at least he can say that. At least he didn't go conjure up no spirit like Saul did. He wasn't out there doing that. He had flesh man mistakes, he was not their spiritual.
It always comes down to the flesh.
It always comes down to the flesh.
These brothers get so just boisterous, and they see a pretty woman, and then they're like, well, shoot, might as well. Okay. No.
So either way, but yeah, I think I think it is important. He is important. There you go. Not it is, but he is important. Yeah. But yes, like I said, it all comes down to the flesh, and people falling a little bit short and giving into that flesh.
I think as we wrap up, the major takeaway I have of this episode is that Gazette.
Is what?
The Gazette. The Town Gazette. Because I know somewhere in the Bible, somebody had that idea. And we are going to find it by the time we hit Revelation, we're going to have a concrete evidence that there was a Gazette.
People are going to be so fed up with us. Ain't no daggone Gazette. There was no Jezebel column.
There was no top story.
There was no top story. There was no wanted ads.
There was no 1, 2 sheep and sham. Inquire within. All right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of this season 2.
Yes.
Episode 2.
Yes.
So
I know I did.
We did. And so we'll be back next week, you guys. And next week we roll into, what is the next?
Kings.
Oh, wow. We're in Kings already.
Yeah. King of Kings. Lord
nice.
Lords.
So
and now we're going to hit Daniel at some point. I don't know if it's our next episode, but he coming and them lines is coming. And I would like to warn y'all from now as we come to a close. Yes, I'm going to give a voice to each of the lions that was in that pit with him.
Oh my gosh.
Yup.
Wow.
Sorry.
Are we going to do a little project too? Do you want make paper masks of lions?
I don't need
this reenactment for a visual.
I'm sorry. Can I just start really fast?
Oh gosh. Okay. Yes. Story time.
I had a dream.
Oh God.
Last night about the lion from the woods.
Was it the scene when he first met the lion? He's ran so fast.
He came out the stage. Because I told y'all it's my favorite movie, and I wasn't watching it last night, I promise. But in my head, I heard, rule. Say what you want. So, all right.
Because I'm a mean old lion.
Okay, sorry. So thank you guys for tuning in.
You know my favorite, I'm sorry, y'all. My favorite part of the scene is when he being all big and bag and Toto bites him. He's like, my ball! He bit me!
Okay, all right. Thank you guys again for joining us for this very special episode in season 2 as we wrapped up the books of Samuel.
I'm sorry, y'all. I can't hold it. I'm sorry.
And tune in next week as we continue on. But please drop a comment, leave us a note, drop an email, hit us up on IG. She's still laughing. I'm trying to get through this. Hit us up on IG, on Facebook. We are coming to TikTok. We are on Twitter. Threads just popped off, so we're going to be on Threads too. But anywhere you see Bible by Blacks, Please check in with us. She took off her headset. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I don't care. We love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Good night. I'm going home.